So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying good. I hope everything is good. I hope everything good. I hope you're having a lovely weekend. Guys, I've been asked a question on Instagram about Gennady Golovkin, saying that Golovkin had an ambition of becoming an undisputed champion. What happened to that ambition? What happened to Gennady Golovkin trying to collect all the belts at middleweight? I don't know whether Gennady Golovkin has that ambition anymore. I don't know whether Gennady Golovkin is there just to have a few more big paydays and then, you know, retire and go off into the sunset. I personally think he's fighting Murata for a unified championship, and I think that might tempt Canelo to fight him for a third time. And if Canelo is able to become undisputed at super middleweight, he may come down to look to fight Golovkin for the unified belts. I don't know whether Golovkin has the ambition anymore to fight a Charlo, to fight an Andrade. These guys are young, up and coming. But someone asked me, do I think that Gennady Golovkin can become undisputed still? It wouldn't be easy, because we saw against Derevyanchenko that, you know, Gennady Golovkin is a faded fighter. He's been in a lot of hard fights. It's been, you know, he's had a tough career. And he's not a fresh fighter in the sense that he's had a long amateur career. And although a lot of his fights early on, he was bashing guys up and he was knocking them out, he was stopping them. Of late, he's taken a lot of punishment. You know, the Jacobs fight wasn't easy. The Canelo fights weren't easy. And he's had a few top. Derevyanchenko fight wasn't easy. He's taken a punishment in certain fights. And he's always been a guy that, you know, isn't defensively sound. You know, he gets hit a lot. So, you know, and he's 39. Wear and tear on the body. And it's not just that. The fights itself is the training camps, the sparring. You know, he's been in boxing for a very long time. So, you know, it's wear and tear on Golovkin's body. He's a lot older now. However, going back, do I think Gennady Golovkin can still become an undisputed middleweight champion? It depends on his ambition. I do believe he's still capable of beating Charlo and Andrade. I still believe, and I know I've had debates with some of my subscribers saying that there's no way Golovkin beats Charlo or Andrade. I disagree. And I'll break it down why. I actually think Golovkin's style is horrible for Andrade. Even at 39, in his prime, no doubt he would knock Andrade out. But even now, I think what I saw with Andrade and Liam Williams is Andrade is going to struggle against a pressure fighter, especially a pressure fighter that can punch like Golovkin. And Andrade hasn't got any power to keep Golovkin off. He hasn't got any power. Golovkin's going to keep walking him down. Yes, Golovkin's feet may not be as good as they were in his prime, but I still think his feet are good enough to close the distance on Andrade. And I feel like when he hits Andrade, I feel he'll stop him. I think he'll knock Andrade out. Golovkin is a very, very big puncher, a very concussive puncher. He hurts you. He hits you hard to the body. He wears you down. I just don't think Andrade can keep him off. What's Andrade going to do? Outbox him for 12 rounds? Keep that Golovkin off of him for 12 rounds? I just don't see it. And I think Golovkin would stop Andrade probably in 8-9 rounds. Just like I think Canelo would. But I actually think Golovkin's style... Again, we are talking about a much older, faded Golovkin. So I don't know by the time if this fight was to happen, how long, you know, if it could happen in a year's time, 2 years' time. So we don't know what's going to be left of Golovkin. But from what I've seen recently, I still think that Golovkin's style is all wrong for Andrade. I think Golovkin's pressure fighting ability, the way he puts pressure on you, I think that's all wrong for Andrade, especially from what I saw in the Liam Williams fight. Liam Williams was able to put pressure and trouble Andrade, and even hurt Andrade in that fight. Golovkin's a way bigger puncher, way more aggressive, just way more ruthless than someone like Liam Williams. And if you were to put Golovkin in there with Liam Williams, I think Golovkin stops Liam Williams. And I like Liam Williams. I think Liam Williams is a good fighter. And I didn't cut Andrade. I mean, I didn't give Andrade that much stick because I actually knew Liam Williams was a good fighter. But when you're hyping someone up and saying this guy's this and the other, you expect a dominant performance against someone like Liam Williams. And Andrade wasn't able to put in a dominant performance against Williams, which is no shame because Williams can fight. However, when you're making Andrade out to be the next big thing and saying he's this, that, and the other, then we do expect a lot better than what we got. He got wobbled several times. And let's not forget, Liam Williams is a guy that was stopped to Liam Smith. Now, I get it. Liam Williams was far better now than when he fought Andrade than he was when he fought Smith. He was far better conditioned. He was under Dominic Ingle. I get all of that. But still, when you're talking about Andrade the way they were, you expect a much more clinical and dominant performance, which we didn't get. And like I said, Golovkin's a lot better than Liam Williams. So when you put that into context, Golovkin for me would beat Andrade even now. I just think stylistically, I just don't think Andrade is going to be able to box for 12 rounds against Golovkin, not getting caught, not getting hurt. And with that pressure, I just don't see how Andrade keeps Golovkin off for 12 rounds. Now, when it comes to Golovkin and Charlo, I actually think that's a tougher fight for Golovkin, and that could be Golovkin's undoing, because Charlo for me is very strong, very good. He's got a very good jab. He's a big enough puncher, and he's physically strong as well. That's a tough fight. But again, Charlo's not faced anyone like Golovkin. Charlo's not faced anyone with the kind of power of Golovkin, with the pressure fighting ability of Golovkin. Charlo would be stepping up massively to fight someone like Golovkin from the competition that he's been fighting. And I think that for me would still be a 50-50 fight. Just because, like I said, Charlo hasn't really fought at that kind of level. I've seen Golovkin fight Canelo twice, and I've seen Golovkin probably win the first fight and the second fight lose it narrowly. That's the level, and we all praise Canelo about his resume and how great he is. That's the level that Golovkin has been operating at. That's the level that Golovkin has been operating at, and Charlo hasn't operated at that level. Charlo hasn't operated at that level, so he's still an unknown quantity, whereas Golovkin's a proven commodity. Golovkin's proven. Golovkin is proven. And Charlo is yet proven at that elite level. What I mean is he's yet to face an elite fighter, Jermall Charlo. He's yet to face, because let's be honest, what's his best win? Derevyanchenko, he fought Korobov in a fight that a lot of people thought he lost. Now, Korobov's style, for me, Andrade and Charlo would be a good fight. I would favor Charlo still in that fight, but I actually think Andrade has a better chance. Watching the Korobov fight, it feels to me that the Charlos can be outboxed. Both of them, they can be outboxed, but they're ruthless, relentless, and they punch very hard. So they're very dangerous, but they can be outboxed. And Andrade's style may cause someone like Charlo trouble. I just think, watching Andrade against Liam Williams, I just think the pressure, the power may be too much for Andrade. So I have Charlo and Golovkin beating Andrade. But I think those two would be a mega fight. I think even now, Golovkin would have what it takes to beat someone like Charlo. But I think that would be a tough fight physically. I think the power of Charlo, I think Charlo's jab. I think Charlo has definitely got the tools to beat Golovkin. I do. I think he's got the tools. However, again, like I said, the chin and all of that will be coming to test when you fight Golovkin. Golovkin is a massive puncher. Charlo's not been in the ring with anyone with the punching power of a Gennady Golovkin. And Golovkin has the kind of power that can wipe you out. He can destroy you. So for me, there's a lot of questions for Charlo to still answer. But I do think out of the two, Charlo and Andrade, I do think Charlo poses a lot of threat to Golovkin. And I think Charlo could beat Golovkin. I don't favor Andrade in that fight against Golovkin. I think Golovkin's style is all wrong. All wrong. Stylistically, it's all wrong. I think Golovkin and Charlo, that's a tough fight for Golovkin, just because I think Charlo's very strong. He punches hard. He's relentless. He's got a lot of heart. I like Charlo. I like both Charlos. I think they're very underrated. I don't think they get put on the Jamel. If he beats Brian Castano, he definitely should be on the pound for pound list. He should definitely be on the pound for pound list. I actually think that Jamel Charlo should be in the top 5 or 6 with what he's done. He's going to clean out, and he's done it emphatically as well. I know he's taken a loss against Tony Harrison, but he rematched him and he won emphatically, stopped him. And he's cleaned out the 154-pound division. Beats Brian Castano, he'll clean out the 154-pound division. This Charlo is a very, very good fighter. Very, very good fighter. Jamel, I like Jamel. I think he's a great... And Jamal is a good fighter as well. So I actually think that both Charlos could be a problem, because I think Jamel could move up to 160 as well. Once he becomes undisputed, I don't think there's going to be anything for him to do. So I think he'll probably move up as well. I'm looking forward to it. I just don't know whether Gennady Golovkin has the ambition now to get all the belts. Is it just about fighting Canelo and maybe retiring after that? I don't know. And maybe he looks at someone like Andrade and Charlo as a risk and thinks that if I lose, then that Canelo fight, you know, evades me, it goes away. So I just don't know what Gennady Golovkin's ambition is. But Gennady Golovkin can definitely beat Charlo and Andrade, in my opinion, still. Even at 39, I think Golovkin's still very strong. He still punches hard. The power's the last thing that leaves. And I think his style is all wrong for Andrade. And I think he beats Murata. So it only really leaves Charlo. I think they could potentially have a shootout for the undisputed between Golovkin and Charlo. I honestly think that would be a mega fight. And I honestly think that's a proper 50-50 fight at this stage. At this stage in Golovkin's career, I think Charlo has the capacity and capability of beating him. And I actually think Charlo has the attributes to give Golovkin a lot of trouble. I just don't think Andrade, although I feel Andrade has the attributes, I don't think Andrade's attributes is going to be enough for him to for him to see the distance. I just don't think so. I think Golovkin punches too hard. I think Golovkin's too relentless. I think Golovkin's chin's too good. I just think when you combine it all together, all those things together, I just don't see how Andrade goes the distance with him. And bearing in mind of what we saw with Liam Williams, it looks like Andrade's can be hurt. Andrade struggles against a guy that's going to pressure him all night. And I just think Golovkin's all wrong. And I think Charlo's all wrong for Andrade as well. I think both of them beat him. And I'm not saying Andrade doesn't cause either guy trouble. Yes, I believe he caused both of them trouble. I believe that Andrade can cause both Golovkin and Charlo a lot of trouble. However, I just don't think he can keep it up for 12 rounds. That's the issue. Because I think what we saw against Liam Williams, his stamina, his chin, all of that looked shaky to me. And against guys like Charlo and Golovkin, they punch too hard. They've got great chins. They're relentless. They've got a lot of heart. I just don't see how Andrade is going to keep them off for 12 rounds and be able to take what's coming back as well. Because I feel like there's vulnerability there with Andrade. So I actually think that I want to see Golovkin Charlo. I think that could potentially be for the undisputed. I think if we were to look at the four champions, Murata, Andrade, Golovkin and Charlo, I actually think the last two that would be standing would be Charlo and Golovkin. And I think they would shoot it out and they would fight. See, what ideally needs to happen is that Golovkin needs to fight Murata. Whoever wins that fights and Andrade needs to fight Charlo. And then the winner of those fights fight for the undisputed. That's what we need. And then the winner of the whole little mini tournament gets a fight with Canelo Alvarez. That's what I think should happen. Will that happen? Probably not. Boxing politics will probably stop that from happening. But that's what I think should happen. And that's what I want to happen. Because as I've stated in other videos, I want to see an undisputed champion in all weight classes. I want to wake up, right, and say that Golovkin is the middleweight champion, or Charlo is the middleweight champion, or Josh Taylor, like Josh Taylor's the 140-pound champion. I want to be able to say who the champion is at all the weight classes. And at the minute, we've got several champions. Who's the champion at heavyweight? Is it Tyson Fury? Is it Anthony Joshua? Who's the champion at cruiserweight? Is it Bradis? Is it Lawrence Okoli? Who is it? You know, who's the champion at light heavyweight? Is it Beterbiev? Is it Bivol? Is it Joe Smith? Who's the champion? Who's the champion at super middleweight? You know, it looks like Canelo's going to fight Caleb for the undisputed, so we're going to know. Who's the champion at 160? We don't know. It looks like we may get an undisputed at 154. Who's the champion at a welterweight? Is it Pacquiao? Is it Spence? Is it Crawford? You know, who's the champion at 135? Is it Devin Haney? Is it Teofimo? Do you see what I mean? It's like we've got all these questions that need to be answered in boxing, so everybody knows why I want to see an undisputed. I want to see one champion in every weight class, and they need to make these fights. They need to make the champions fight champions, and eventually we crown an undisputed for every weight class. That's what we need. But leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think. Can Gennady Golovkin still become undisputed by beating Charlo and Andrade? Leave your thoughts. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.